Welcome to this Tuesday's edition of Tech Talk Tuesdays with Miss Toledo. Today's topic is ethics and educational technology. We know that in 2023, the expectation is that we're using educational technology in some way, shape, or form in all of our lessons. When thinking about ethics and ed tech in your classroom, just remember respect. R stands for responsible. One of our jobs as educators is to teach our students to be responsible digital citizens. And to do that, we need to model how to interact with others online. We need to be modeling how to do all of these different things because we know that one of the big things that's happening in our classrooms and in society is that there's a lot of bullying happening and people are not don't necessarily know how to talk to others in various situations. And part of that starts in our classrooms. So we need to make sure that we are putting these sorts of lessons at the forefront of a lot of what we're doing. The next thing we need to remember is that there are ethics. We have to remember and teach our students that they can't just take anything from any source and use it. There are royalty free things that the kids can use, and that is we need to make sure that we're teaching the students how to look for royalty free music, photos, and things of that nature, and how to effectively use that when we're doing our lessons. The next thing is social media. Now, we know that there's social media in everything that we're doing. The kids are obsessed with going on TikTok, using Instagram, going on YouTube. And we need to teach our students how to use social media effectively, not just for going and posting things that's happening during their weekends and things of that nature. We need to make sure that our students are very aware of how social media will overall impact their lives. What they post today will be seen for the rest of their lives. And although most of our students, in my case, my students are 11 and 12, those things that they're posting is going to follow them for literally the rest of their lives. They're at this age where they are learning that social media will take their words matter. What they post on social media not only impacts their lives, but the lives of the people around them. And that's what we need to remember. We can, as teachers, we can model how to use social media. And I do personally have social media accounts that my students follow me on, and um, they can see how I interact with other people in the grand scheme of the world. And that is one of the things that, um, if you're not comfortable sharing social media with your students, that's fine. But we need to be realistic and let our students see, hey, this is what a real social media account looks like. This is how I can post effectively, and here's how I can get my message across without it going into the realm of bullying or any of those things. We also need to remember that when we post things on social media, we need permission. We need to teach our students what permission is. It is so crucial that our students are asking for permission before they take somebody's picture, before they use something and post it as their work. Um, we know that a lot of times that our students are at this age where they're not sure about how to go about asking for permission, and it is our job to explain how to do all of that. We also need to be mindful that if we are posting our students, that we do have that permission. That way we have that shield to cover us, and we have permission from families that we're able to post students pictures, anything in their likeness, or any of their work that they have produced, because that is their intellectual property. We also want to make sure that we are engaging our students fully in all of our lessons that we're doing. We know that um, we're again in this age where it is expected that majority of our lessons are we're using some sort of technology, even if it's technology that's not directly provided by our district in terms of apps and websites. But we want to make sure that all of our students are fully engaged in everything that we're doing in the classroom. um, We want to also, when we talk about engagement and ethics, we want to make sure that whatever we're using, our students are legally able to use it. So we know that there are a lot of, and we're going to get into this a little bit later, age restrictions on different things. And we want to make sure that we're actively engaging our students, but also not putting them at risk, and their information, we're making sure that none of that is at risk or being compromised by keeping our students engaged in what we're doing. The next thing for C, which is coming up, is COPA, CIPA, and FERPA. Now, these are all of those things I was just talking about with engagement. COPA stands for Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act. CIPA stands for Children's Internet Protection Act, and FERPA is the Family Education's Rights and Privacy Act. We need to make sure that we're keeping all of our students' information as confidential and private as possible, especially when we're using third-party applications and things of that nature. And the last thing that we need to remember when we're talking about ethics in educational technology is types of technology. We know that technology is not all made equally. Because of that, we need to teach our students how to move through the world using multiple types of technology. We know that if we are sharing devices, we need to teach our students, hey, after we use these different types of technology, we need to go back and we need to log out of what we're doing. And we need to not only explain to our kids the importance of logging out, but we can also go in and show them, okay, if I forgot to log out of something, let me go back in, and this is the way to do it. There are ways to do it by logging all of your devices out on Google. It's annoying when you forget to log out of one thing, but it's for over our children's overall protection in the long run. Here are a few scenarios we're going to talk about really quickly, so that we talk about these different types of ethical things that we need to be mindful of. So, the first scenario is one of your students over the weekend sent you an email explaining they forgot their password to access a digital platform that you use for your class. They're asking you to send their password in the email. What should you do? Well, I know most of the time we want to send the passwords to help our students out, but in this case, we should not do that over the internet. Why? Because that information can be taken from anywhere. That email could be coming from somebody else who's not our student, and that can open us up. We can be giving By providing that password, we can be opening up and sharing information with somebody who's not our student. So, in that situation, you can, if it's over the weekend and you don't feel like calling the family, wait until the next time you see the student and then give them that information face to face. That way, you're not putting yourself in, you're not crossing any of the lines with giving out private information, and your students, all their confidential information is still safe. Here's scenario 2. You are in class and you're struggling to engage your students in class to use technology. Another teacher explained to you a program that they are using, but it's not working with your students. A student gives you a suggestion about something they have used in another class. What should you do? Well, when we're talking about engaging our students, we need to be mindful that everything that happens in every class is not going to work for us. We need to be open to what other teachers are doing, because some of the times that's what the kids are doing in other classes, or what they're doing, what your partner teachers are doing, could work in your class. We also need to be mindful of the programs that we're using and making sure that, again, we're not giving out students confidential information, including name, date of birth, address, and things of that nature. But even there are times where students also have good ideas about what technology to use. Scenario 3. You are assigned a writing piece for your class. A student submitted their assignment early. it is clear that the work that was submitted was not produced by the student. During class, you hear several students talking about Chat GPT. What should you do? Now, in this situation, your student probably did not produce the work and they probably did use Chat GPT and they explained what Chat GPT was to their peers, and now their peers are talking about it. As a teacher, it is your job to explain to the students what Chat GPT is and explain to them that if they're taking the work that Chat GPT is producing and saying that it's theirs, that is a violation of several things, and it does they can get expelled from school for that because that is called plagiarism. Explaining to our students how these different forms of AI are working and what their jobs are and how to use them as tools is what we should be doing. That way students know, okay, I can't just rely just on ChatGPT on how to for anything that I'm doing in any of my classes, whether it be a writing piece, whether it be something for math or anything like that. We need to make sure that our students are fully aware of what happens with all of these things, especially when it comes to AI. The last scenario is you notice that a new prompt is coming up on the screen for your students who are using an SSO to log into a website. It explains that students' ages need to be inputted, so students under the age of 13 will no longer have access to the site using their SSO. The students are seeing this and they have started to put a fake birthday in. What should you do? Now, this is actually one of the things that's happening to me right now in my classroom. And a lot of our students, because they're already on social media, they have TikTok accounts, they have Instagram accounts. And under those social media websites, you need to be at least 13 years of age. I stated before, majority of my students are 11 and 12. So they fall under that 13 years of age. So what they do is they put in fake birthdays. The same thing when it comes to using ChatGPT. To sign up for ChatGPT, you need to be 18 or older. It says it right in the when you sign up for the website. So our students that have access to all of these things, they have been putting in fake birthdays. Now, as a teacher, what we need to do is we need to be mindful that this is occurring and we need to explain to the students why this is not the correct thing to do. Um, a lot of their information when they're doing that is out there and it can be found um, in many different ways, and that is the biggest reason why we shouldn't do that. Um, Instead of using those websites, there are a ton of other websites that we can use in place of the one that we were already using. And I know it sucks that we have to go back and we have to find new things, but in this specific scenario, we need to make sure that at the end of the day, we are protecting our children online and making sure that their information is kept confidential. We need to make sure that we're not violating um, COPA or CIPA, because once we start violating those things, we get ourselves into a very sticky situation. And we want to make sure that we are, again, keeping our students and their information as safe as possible. We want to try to not shelter them, but make sure that, again, their information is not getting out there. That was a lot of information in a little bit of time. Feel free to rewatch this video if you need anything. Thank you for watching. And if you have any more questions about this topic, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm always available to answer any questions that you have on anything that we went over, anything. If you ever have a question on if something is ethical that you're doing in your classroom and it comes in, it has anything to do with educational technology, feel free to reach out to me. I'm a very great resource to make sure and navigate those difficult um, ethical waters when it comes to education technology. Thank you.